Right. Welcome to session 5. This is your second to last session in the Arise course. You are almost at the finish line. Congratulations. All right. So, today you want to make sure you have your Cultivating a Resilient Mind book, your journal, and a writing utensil for sure. Okay. Our schedule is right there as it says. I always do this. I change the slides and I forget to change the session numbers and stuff. But that's our agenda. We might actually end a little early today. We'll see how that goes. Remember, it is a safe space. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So please feel comfortable, feel free to share whatever it is that you need to share. All right, so let's break some ice. I kind of want to get to know you ladies a little more now that we're going into a real deep dive of practice and implementation this week. I would like to know what has been the most rewarding part about being a parent for you. Why do you enjoy, what do you love about being a parent? I am a woman who love working with kids, but I don't have kids of my own. To be honest, I don't have whether I will have kids is unknown because I have health issues that can contribute to infertility, and I'm not married. I don't have a husband or a bae or boo or any of those things. I would prefer to have a husband. That's what I believe in. But I don't have any of the conditions that would warrant me to have a child anytime soon. So I do genuinely enjoy working with other people's children. And I love to say that when they get on my nerves, I get to give them back. I'm the temp parent. I love being a temporary parent. So what is the most rewarding part about being a parent for you?
It's funny that you said that because I was you a couple of years ago. But I'm just so happy that I can give them back at the end of the day. Um, there's like so many things, but for me, especially when like my daughter was younger, it was like having her like teaching her something and then she picks it up and it just clicks. I feel like that's the like, oh my gosh, you got it. Like, and then she has this thing, and it's so funny because like the things that you hear from parents or other like people who are coaching parents, they say that, kids are sponges, like they copy and they're parrots, so they copy. And then it's funny because like someone who doesn't know they can think that is like sarcastic, but the way that I'm very animated in reaction, she's just the same. So she'll be like, look mama, I got it right, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think that's the most rewarding thing for me. It's just like her learning and then getting things at the same time. And then the like when she I would say, I don't know if the word is emulate, like the things that I teach her, like showing empathy and being like sympathetic. So like something like, for example, it would be another kid, like my nephew or niece is crying, and then she goes, "Are you okay? It hurt? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Oh, you care." So she's like, "Oh my gosh, those little things." And then she's like, she sometimes she like it's just like different things, like her picking up what I'm giving her. And I hope that it continues. There are some hiccups here and there, but as long as I know that I'm giving her the tools to be self-sufficient, I think that that's okay with me. But definitely that, amongst other things. But yeah.
I love that. I love that. Thanks for sharing. I love how you lit up too. And
Yeah.
tons of things to say why you love being a parent. That's a good sign. I like that energy. Do you have anything to add, Mimi?
Of course I do. I'm a mom. But no, I really I was feeling Ashley's excitement with those things, you know. Years ago, I was, especially like in my 20s, I was the sister of one of my siblings that like people thought I wasn't gonna go that route because I was very heavy in like just other parts of my life. Um, at that time, I wasn't sure if I wanted to have kids because I was, worried about passing on traumas, and I was like not in a healed space or even really actively, I think, in a healing space back then. So it was just like something I put to the back of my mind. But something that you hear a lot before you have kids is like, oh, it's different when it's your own though, because of a thousand different reasons. And it's really true. Like, I feel like watching her grow and experience different milestones, watching her have realizations for the first time. She's here actually today, so she just popped in. Um, yeah, like watching her experience life and seeing a lot of that through her eyes makes me light up so much. Yeah, it's like it's different and you kind of get to experience the joy and the wonder of things and the aha moments, and in a lot of ways watching her grow up is healing also because it's like, oh, I almost forgot that feeling or I don't remember when I experienced something for the first time. So I really enjoy seeing her just develop into her own person and experience love and get to understand more and more of life. She's gonna be 5 and it's like I am starting to see bits and parts of her personality and then bits and parts of like, oh no, you're already concerned about these things. Like you're so little. But it's rewarding to me to be able to like have a part of you that came from you and watch them go into the world and become and knowing that I can have influence over that.
Mhm. Love that. Thank you for sharing. Good. I got happy moms in the room. That's great. So, since you love motherhood and parenthood and all that, you are naturally motivated to solve whatever problems that you got going on related to it, right? So, what is one problem that you're facing right now that you would like to solve?
For
Um, Go ahead, Ashley.
no, it's okay. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that for me, there were a few things, but I really tried to hone in since our last class to think about what is that one problem that's rippling out to other parts. And I think for me, it's decluttering my space and my life, just decluttering so that there's room for organization and room to cultivate some things in terms of structure. So to restate, the problem is decluttering. Like the problem I want to fix is decluttering my space and recreating it in a way that promotes visual structure for me and
That
for her.
doesn't sound like a problem to me. That sounds like a solution.
Oh, I said the problem and the solution at the same time. Sorry.
No, you said the problem is to declutter my space.
No, the
So,
problem is that the space is cluttered. It's disorganization in the space and it's rippling out and it needs to be put under control.
okay, copy.
Um, you can tell me if this is a problem or not.
Yeah, y'all are cracking me up about like you don't know how to identify problems. That's a big first step. Okay, let's get there. I love it. Go ahead, Ashley.
Um, so my problem is having confidence in myself.
Mm,
I don't know if that's a problem or just because I feel like that doesn't allow me to do anything else. I feel like because having confidence in myself, I second guess like then those thoughts are, am I being a good mom? then I feel like, okay, I don't know how you say, like I beat myself up. I'm like, okay, like I feel like I have no time that I spend with her really. So it's like she's growing up in front of my eyes and I feel like I have no part in that.
Mm.
Or it's like also maybe work life. I think that you guys said that last week, like work life balance. Yeah, you can balance it out, but how, like for me, I feel like there's no balancing out currently because work takes so much of it. Like where I was able, like I would say like in her first year, I was able to work like Monday through Friday, but with staffing and things like that, now I'm working Monday through Friday and I'm working Sunday, where my family time was usually on the weekends. So it's like now I feel like, okay, to have confidence in myself, no matter what the circumstances are, I think that's my problem. If that's the problem.
You tell me it's your life. Is it if it's a
You
problem for
you
you?
sound so clear, Ashley. You sound like it's spot on.
Okay.
So that's I would say that that's a big problem, right? But we're gonna get into it. So today, you guys are going to zone in on the problem that you want to solve. I will support you through it, but it's mostly gonna be less of me talking today and more of you ladies talking and working so that you can start to begin to construct your presentation. And hopefully by the end of the class, you'll have A, R, I, and S already done of your presentation. And your only homework assignment will be to execute what you came up with so that you can address that problem. And then by next class, you will be able to have the the final parts of your presentation done so you can share how it turned out. Okay? So, if you feel like I'm leaving you, a little hanging, it's because I've talked for 4 weeks straight. And now it's about you and seeing if you can take what you've learned and practice it and implement it into your life. Practice, 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 implementation, implementation, implementation. How have you either practiced, or I should say, how well do you take what you've learned and implement it? So I know I'm gifted in this. I've been told by professors, my whole childhood, growing up in college, that I'm able to take information and turnkey it and apply it right away in comparison to my peers that I've observed where we could be in the same room in the same class learning the same thing and the teacher could be like, "Oh, when you go outside, make sure that you wear sunscreen." Right? And then I'm in class with a whole bunch of black people. So we all go outside and I'm over there at the store looking at sunscreen, wondering what these different numbers mean. And my friends are like, "What are you doing? You don't need that." So that just gives a very, really broad example of how we can acquire information all the time. But it's really up to us to determine if we're going to implement it. And there's a lot of factors that go into whether we implement stuff. And that is really more so our personal choices, what's important to us. I don't want my skin to get burned. To be honest, I seen my mom's skin get burned just standing in the parking lot at the beach, and I felt so bad for her. And ever since then, once I learned about sunscreen, I try my best to be mindful of my skin, even though people make fun of me and be like, "You black, we don't need that." Like, actually we do because I just saw my mom like burn in pain. Yeah, it's real. So that's what motivates me to want to follow through and implement that practice. How well are you with implementing different practices or tools that you learn? If you were to rate yourself, I'll make it easy. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. 5, like everything that I learn, I try to implement it or I do implement it right away. 1 is like, not really. Things just come in here and they go out there.
Um, So I would say 1 through 5, maybe three. And I would say that it's because I know that I struggle with executive dysfunction. And so I acknowledge my feelings a lot. I'm very self-aware. Um, Lately, I've been trying to remind myself of why for a lot of things to avoid burnout and all of that. I try to give myself meaning and remember why I'm starting things. And I'm starting more since this class to pay attention to my options. More I've been paying attention to my options, the more I've been feeling called one way or another thing in different parts of my life. Strategizing the next steps, I think I'm at a point where I'm starting to strategize, but I get muddled in the overwhelm of the strategizing and it delays the execution process.
So you're saying you're on a scale of you're on a three scale of implementing things in general or implementing the rise.
Um,
Sounded like you were
Implementing
talking
the
about.
rise, and I think implementing things sometimes in general. I think it's a ripple out.
Okay, Ashley.
I think for me, with implementing the arise, I'm sort of kind of like 3.94.
This is not the hold up. Just to be clear, this question is not about a rise. It's just a five starter. It's just how are you with implementing things that you learn? Y'all
Oh,
want to jump right
I
into
thought you meant in this
it?
class. Okay.
No, how are you implementing things? I gave a example about sunscreen. I thought that
Right.
would help take you away from a rise in general because how you implement things in
Right.
your life is going to influence how you implement a rise anyway. So I just
I
want
think it's, yeah, so I think then to make it clearer, it's for me it's whenever I if it's clear, like if the steps and if everything is clear in my head, it's easier to implement. But if I'm getting stuck in a point of unclarity or overthinking, then implementation is difficult. So I would still say like 3.5 maybe.
For me, I'll probably give myself a 4. I'm good at implementing, but it's consistency that's sometimes where I fall off. So I wouldn't give myself a 5 to where I implement it and I take it away and I keep on implementing it. But I feel like it's just consistency to where for me personally, like growing up, it would be like, okay, Sunday school is it's Sunday. They tell you, okay, whatever. And they're like, how many people implemented it? And then I think I would be eager to say whether or not I did, but I don't know if that was off of because I wanted to say something or is because I really resonated it and with it and wanted to change it. But I feel like personally, currently, right now, it's more so of consistency and keep on doing certain things.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. That was a really good segue. That's why you guys have to do a presentation. That's why it's required for you to go through these steps because that's what I don't want. I don't want you to leave this course, be like, yeah, I did this course. It was nice. It was kumbaya, cool. And then, like, you're not applying the steps when you encounter an issue. You may not apply it to every single problem that comes to mind. But if you start to feel overwhelmed, like you should get to a point where you can recognize, like, you know what, let me take a breath and follow these steps because I see that, like, I'm really bothered by what's happening right now and I don't really know what to do. I don't understand why I'm bothered. Let me do this, follow the right steps so that I can address it. All right. So change requires action and commitment. I said this last week when we talked about execution, and it goes for this point for today as well, right? Implementation, right? Change requires action and commitment. And so your presentation is the action that you are going to demonstrate that you want to change your situation and commitment to executing it and making it happen. Once you have a tool you must implement the tool for its purpose to be achieved. So if you have a chair, right? What's the purpose of a chair?
A seat to sit down?
Exactly. So is a chair achieving its purpose if no one is sitting in it?
No.
No, right? It's just there. It's there, but its function is not being utilized, right? And so you having the Arise framework in your toolbox, or you having physically a copy of the book, and you're not actually using it to solve problems, then it's not achieving its purpose. So now it's time to implement Arise in your life. So that way you can start to see and feel, and with guidance, what purpose Arise plays in your life and how to make sure that you activate and achieve that purpose. Implement and present. So Arise, and then we got implement and present. That's the last two classes. Today we're talking about implementation, and next week is presentation. So in your presentation, this is what you will be expected to do to implement. You're going to identify a problem that you're facing. You're going to use the A, R, and the I, S in Arise to plan out how you're going to solve that problem. Over the next week, you're going to execute your plan, which is the E. In class on March 28th, next Saturday, you're going to present your outcomes and your experience applying the entire Arise process to your life. Questions about that?
No. Just a comment. I like that we're doing this right now. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, this is what your presentation should look like. It's going to be a PowerPoint presentation. You can use Google Slides. That's what I highly recommend. Or you can use PowerPoint slides. If you choose to use Canva slides, Perzy slides, all the extra, that's cute. I can't help you if you have any technical difficulties. Google Slides is bread and butter key. Like that's what I'm using now. So that's what I highly recommend. If you choose to use anything else, you can, but the technical issues is going to be on you, okay? The first slide is going to have your name, the title of whatever you want to call it. It's your presentation and the date. Slide 2, you're going to clearly state what the problem is that you're solving, and you can provide a little bit of context around it. Slide 3 is going to begin your Rise step. So you have a slide talking about acknowledge what your process was about that. Then 4 is remember your why, what that was, identifying your options. 6, this next steps that you strategize. 7, the how you executed the plan and the deadline that you had decided that you were going to execute the plan by, if you did do it by then. And then slide 8 is going to have your outcomes. What happened after you executed and you completed all the steps? What happened? Were you successful? Were you unsuccessful? Did you meet what you needed to meet? Did you not? And then slide 9 is going to be your reflection of you reflecting on the entire process. What did it feel like identifying the problem? What did it feel like going through all the steps? What did it feel like executing it? And how did you feel about yourself now that you implemented the strategy in your life? So that's how the presentation should be set up. 9 slides. So you're going to get work time right now. So you can start working on your presentation to ensure that you are successful and prepared. I'm going to give you 10 minutes of just work time just to gather your thoughts, to think about what it is that you want to do. In your workbook on page 37, I should have said it last week, but I don't think I gave the page number. But if you were paying attention, you should have been able to do it. I wanted you guys to look at page 37 to 40. in it is the actual arise as an activity. And there's a little discussion. We started this discussion with Sarah. I think it's with the boyfriend. No, no, that wasn't it. That was on priorities. We didn't do it. But in there, there's a model example, another scenario, and how you can apply Rise like as a practice. So if you want to go and look into it, you could look into it, but we didn't do it as a group. You can use the worksheet for yourself for your own problem so that you could answer the questions there if it will help you better. Highly recommend. Once you get your answers of how you want, then you can just start putting it on a PowerPoint slides. That's how I would recommend. I would just write it out, all my steps, and then just transfer it to a PowerPoint slide when I'm ready. Or if you're one of those people that just like to be done as you go along, do the first slide, write your answer, so on and so forth, that's great. But I want to give you 10 silent minutes. All your plans must be executed by March 26th, which is Thursday, so that you have time to update your presentation because you have to update what the outcome of the execution was in your reflection so that you have enough time to get that done before class on Saturday. Okay? Any questions about your work time or what you're expected to do right now?
No, that was clear.
No, it was clear? All right, I strive to be clear. All right, so I'm gonna let the 10-minute timer go, and then we'll come back and discuss where you are in workshop. And if you ladies need another 10 minutes of work time, we'll give you another 10 minutes of work time, and then we'll go into closing. You ladies can continue working. I just shifted the screen for a second. All right, ladies, how you doing? I thought I paused the recording this whole time.
Oh.
A lot of dead space. All
Um,
right.
I think for me, during the time, I went to the pages that you recommended for the Arise and just started off those and writing out the answers to the acronyms on the page. Go over it to if you see it's like on the right path of what is required for this task. Um,
Mhm.
Acknowledgement, it says, what's the problem? How do you feel about it? I feel terrible about not spending as much time with my daughter. Um, and then for
Hold up. You said it says, "What's the problem? How do you feel about it?" In your answer, you just told me how you felt about a problem, but you didn't say what the problem was.
oh, the problem the problem is not spending time with my daughter. And I said
Okay.
terrible about that. And then for R, it says the reason why you feel that way. I
Mhm.
said it's important for me to bond with my daughter and create memories around this critical age range. I want to feel accomplished and more involved in her life. And then for I to identify three options, I can either ask for a change in my hours. I can create a schedule myself to where I'm awake earlier to spend time with her, or I can leave work at the time I'm supposed to leave work and not stay longer. Um, and then for S is to strategize. I said to find out what time best works. Um,
Okay, so pause right there. So I was wondering if this clarity would get lost. So the strategize part is after you've picked one of those logical solutions. So you pick three. So which one of the three are you now going to use to strategize?
it's funny that you said that. So when I was going through it, when I did the I, and I was like, okay, now I have to strategize. Now I have to think which one logically seems like it's gonna happen. So that's the one that I strategize for. So I did the one of creating a schedule where I can wake up earlier to spend time with my daughter.
Okay.
And then I said to find out what time works best for me to wake up where I'm not as tired and I can still get ready for work and still do something with her in that time frame before I leave.
Okay.
Um, and I put to meal prep for breakfast so we can have like breakfast time together. And then the third thing I have is to lay out clothes for the week. So it's like it's not time that I had away from her. Like everything is already prepared. I can just get dressed. And then and to include my partner in the setup.
Okay. So that was a lot of different things. So the solution that you're doing to spend time with your daughter is to do it in the morning.
Yeah, to spend at least more time in the morning because I couldn't choose.
Okay. So I'm helping you because when I want to make sure that you guys understand what strategy means. It's very clear, it's very concrete. It doesn't leave anything objective, subjective when you walk away from it.
Mhm,
So if the solution is I'm going to make the time in the morning,
mhm,
now you have to decide right now what time are you going to wake up. So how much time in the morning? Is that 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes,
mhm,
right? Now, so what time do you normally wake up? And then where does that 30 minutes wait fit in? Or where like you got to give the actual time. So if you know that you wake up at 5 a.m., for example, is fun time happening at 6 a.m. after breakfast and get ready?
mhm,
Or is it before? Where is that time happening? And then if it's after get ready, whatever, and you want to maximize sleep time, all that other stuff is after you've already decided the time that you're spending with your child. Is it 6 to 6:30? Is it 6:30 to 7?
mhm.
You want to be very specific so that when you go to execute it, you're just executing steps that you already created. It's not like, oh, now I got to figure out what time I'm going to go spend time with her, or no, you want to make all of that clear now. That's what the strategy time is for, or the strategy step is for.
Okay. So, for the time to wake up, it would be 6 o'clock.
Hmm.
Get ready. So the time frame of happy time with her would probably like 7:30 until like 8:39.
You got a long time to spend with your child. You got to an hour and a half with her every day.
At least in the morning. So for me, it's also good to, that's why I wanted to do it in the morning because then it would help her for her going to school in the fall as well. So she's already in that routine of waking up in the early in the morning. So it
Mhm.
would fall into, I wouldn't have to create another type of routine for her once that time comes in. Um,
So you're gonna spend an hour and a half with her every day in the morning.
Yeah, because that's gonna include like bathing, preparing like the toys, setting up with her. I'll probably though I'll probably lay out some stuff for us the night before, have her choose and play time with her during that time.
So you don't spend that time with her now.
In the morning, no.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm
you
just asking because
no,
that just sounds like a lot, or it doesn't sound. It doesn't sound like out. I don't know your routine, so to me it sounded like, oh, isn't that what you normally do? So that's why I asked.
so for like currently right now, the time that I wake up is literally enough for me to prepare something like a bottle for her in the morning, shower, get dressed, and leave.
So
Usually
what time do you go to work usually?
I have to go be at work for 10.
Oh, so you normally what wake up in time to get ready for work?
Yeah, so it's just
Oh, okay, okay. There's different schedules, different
yeah.
schedule. I operate on, I worked in a regular school. Kids have to be in school by 8, I have to be at work at 7:30. So that's why I'm like, that's why the part in your presentation where we talk about context, things like that is what you would discuss or mention so that we can understand a little bit of your world in the context of where your problem is. Okay, that sounds good.
Um, so I'll wake up at 6, probably get ready by like 7:30, done, and then just have her wake up at her at that time and then just start a morning routine with her.
Okay. And when will how long you're gonna do this for? When you're gonna start it and when you're not gonna end it per se, but to collect data for the sake of this class, when you're gonna start executing it. That's what I should say. That's a better you whispering, I can't
Oh,
hear.
Monday. I didn't.
Monday morning. Okay. And then you'll be consistent. So
Yes.
that's yeah, every day.
Yes.
All right, good job. You can start working on your PowerPoint at least up until that point. So
Hmm.
you have it prepared.
I have a question. So in the part where we have like the where we talk about how it went, can we give like a like notes of how each day went up
Yeah,
until
yeah, it's your presentation.
there?
Your presentation. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mimi, how you doing? Let's check in on you.
Um, hey. Whew. Mm.
Don't be overwhelmed. Sis look overwhelmed.
It's not that I'm overwhelmed, it's just the shadow work is real right now. And yeah, it's like this problem has been something that's been looming in my mind for a long time, but it's something that I've had so much shame around that this is probably my first time talking about. So
Mm.
here. Um, so the no job. The problem that I have clutter in my space as well as lack of visual organizational systems and structure for her. Um, Verbal instructions, we'll have like that would be our routine of we just kind of do the same things every day, but I'm also working in educational spaces for so long, I've seen the difference between classrooms that are a little bit unruly and don't have a visual structure, how they see, how they look, how the kids operate in them and not. And I know what's happening right now isn't working. So that's a problem. Acknowledgement, just acknowledging the feelings of shame and anger in self, but also like anger in like parents too, because this is also the same setup that I grew up around. And it was the setup that I always said that I would not repeat. And here I am, overwhelmed and repeating it. So it's
Mm,
like, there's only at a point in your life, there's only so much anger you can feel towards your
mm.
past without acknowledging, without having to take accountability. Um,
Can you start over, but instead of sharing as you're giving a presentation to us,
Mhm.
share as you walking yourself through the steps. So the
Gotcha.
problem I'm struggling with is the clutter, how you said it, and then I feel angry, frustrated,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
like speak it from that perspective.
Gotcha. If you don't mind, can I take a minute to move to another room?
Yeah.
So for the
Mhm.
knowledge part, you want us to state the problem and then state our feeling towards that problem.
Wait, I want you, no. This is how it should be. This outline right here. Slide 2, you're gonna say what the problem is in any context that's necessary for us to understand the problem that you're explaining to us. Then after that, you're following the steps
Okay. Okay.
arise. So you've already said what the problem is. So at that point, you're gonna say how you feel about it,
Hmm.
and then and then follow through. The in the workbook, it wasn't, this is class, so I'm teaching it to you directly. In the workbook, it wasn't written in a manner of it being a class. It was written in a manner of you privately in your house just doing it by yourself. So there's certain things that is not exactly translating, but the questions that I ask in it is like I'm trying to, that's me in my author bag trying to get the person who's doing this by themselves in a corner to ask themselves these questions. But you guys were in class, so it doesn't really connect to you directly.
Hmm.
But on the slide, your problem is a separate space. You got to be able to identify what it is before you get into acknowledging your feelings,
Okay.
which is what I'm trying to get Mimi to do now because she kind of did what you did at first. Y'all both kind of doing it. You got to say the problem for what it is, and then go into how it makes you feel. All right, go ahead.
All
Sorry.
right. That's okay. Um, so the problem is clutter and lack of system like visual systems and structures for both of us. How I feel about that, uh, shame the ripples out because when your space is disorganized, it's hard to bring people in. It's hard to do a lot of things. And I feel like it clutters the routine. Um, I also acknowledge that, this was passed on too. So like addressing this will help with a generational issue or like a issue that I've experienced myself.
So I
Um,
think you're going into a why.
okay,
So just acknowledgement of acknowledging of how you feel,
how
which
I
you feel.
feel.
I heard shame
Okay.
was the
Shame
feeling.
and anger at the situation.
Anger, shame and anger.
Shame and
And then
anger.
when you go into your why, you bringing up like how you were raised and stuff like that. Those are part of the reasons why we are arrived at this place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, so why this problem is important to me is because um my mom always also struggled with that. It was a very cluttered space I grew up in, and the structure wasn't there. And I it has affected me throughout my life. And told myself I wouldn't do it to my child. So accomplishing it just from my own lived experience, I can imagine that that would make things so much simpler for her. And even in terms of some of the other struggles that she's facing, I think it'll be easier to tackle those once there's something set here. Identify my options. So um, I put down asking a trusted person to be a body double of a second set of eyes while I strategize because of the overwhelm. While I focus on a full space cleanup or organization. The second was call a cleaning service for the basics and focus more on her areas first. And then the third was just boss up and just put on some music, send everyone out for the day, and um, start with her sections and then move out to the rest of the space.
That's three logical options for sure. So which one are you gonna go with?
This has been these these three options have floated through my head for so long,
Mhm.
and I haven't been able to settle on one because each of them hit in different places that make it hard for me to start. So I
So
found
the next
myself stuck here.
Yeah, so the best thing to do, I was about to go to implementation, changes implementation, but it's too many slides back. The best thing to do now when you have options and you're not sure what to go with is think about your capacity, right?
Hmm.
So you think about where you are right now. What are you actually able to accomplish by the deadline? Because this is for class, so you have a deadline as well as when this needs to take place. So based off of the deadline, and what you're actually capable of doing and what resources you have to do it. So can um, husband and baby girl help with the process of the decluttering? If they can't, then it's like, okay, do I need to, like you said,
Both.
something about a day where you send them out, if that's what you prepare, and then when you send them out, uh, you're is it easier to bring someone else in or you doing it yourself? Like those are things where it's capacity because when I hear bring someone else in, there's a financial burden that's going to come with that. Are
Mhm.
you financially capable of doing that? Because maybe if you did that, that's less stressful and maybe that would be more timely. I don't know. So that's where you want to kind of go when it comes to, okay, which option would be the most feasible based off of my capacity, my mental, physical, financial, and resource capacity.
I think the most feasible for me right now would be to send them out, um, and then maybe call a friend instead of have someone come.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay. Which option was that? One, two, or three?
that was a combination of one and three. So it's a new
Mhm.
option that is now going to be option three. I'm
So
going to
you need
do
to
it.
identify that new option. You can have four, you can have seven options,
There
right?
you go. That's
I just gave y'all three as a magic number, but you can have seven options. But you
well,
want to make it clear
yeah.
when you go to strategy. what is the option that we're now going to strategize? Because that clarity is important to know, okay, this is the steps that I need to follow to execute.
Hmm. So I'm going to make an option for phone a friend and send them out phone a friend and just get it started.
Okay. So that's your, so how we going to strategize that? So the first step would be to,
Send them, maybe give them something to do this weekend or
mm,
tomorrow, see if they can, have a day, father-daughter day. Um, Maybe reach out to someone on just connect with someone on some ideas that I might be having. Uh,
okay, it's too abstract.
okay.
You need to call your friend and
Hmm.
schedule the day that you're going to clean. Well, you need to schedule the day that you're going to clean first. On
Hmm.
this day, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whichever day it is, that's the cleaning day. You have to set that day. Then you're going to, baby girl, husband, I need y'all to go out to the park, please. This is from this time to this time at the very least. Please disappear in whichever family language that you guys use. Then, friend, I need you to come over to support me in this way on this day from this time to this time. While friend is on the way, this is a bonus suggestion as it relates to this specific problem. You want to have an idea of what you're going to be organizing so that the person that's helping you, like, there's a clear role. So I heard you say they shadow you, like watch you. So I don't know if that you just want a cheerleader in the space to keep you company, or do you want them to physically help you? But whichever the role you want them to play, you want to prepare for that? Is it just throwing out stuff that are just, we just have a lot of stuff that we don't need? Or is it like, oh, I not only need to throw things out, I need to organize stations in certain areas of the house. So maybe writing post-it note that this is going to be a bookshelf area. This is going to be a closet space. This is going to be, so that way, when you guys come together to do it, you guys know how to move things around and where to put them so that by the end of the 5 hours, the 6 hours, however many hours you're allocating, you can have a visual shift in your space that's clear and not one that's incomplete. So maybe depending on your timing, it could be as the whole apartment, or it could be like, all right, I only can accomplish the living room today. So let me do that. Because I would suggest the adult spaces need to be first before you get to her space, because if you clean up her space, kids follow what the adults in the house are doing. And if everybody else space is cluttered and hers is not, she's gonna start cluttering it up again. So you want to
That's
model with the adult spaces first.
true. Hmm. I like the post-it around the house idea, like a visual idea of how things could be.
No, that's a real problem. Y'all coming up with real problems, real solutions, because I can't think when it's cluttered at all. So I get it. And when you feel cramped, you feel like you don't have control. It's a lot. It's
And
real.
I also believe that your environment is a reflection of your mind. So it's like I see it as a decluttering of the mind also that needs to happen alongside that.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So get y'all feeling. Y'all feel like y'all could use 10 more minutes to start getting your slides together. with your A, your R, your I, and your S. Those slides. Slides 1 through 5. Well, 1 through 6. Because the idea, like y'all never met the teacher me, but I don't do my students unprepared the day of or doing stuff last minute. So I like to teach you organization skills along the way. If you already identified your problem and you
Mhm.
did all this stuff, you just told me the answers. Just put it on slides. You can make it look cute later, but just make sure you have it so that way you can focus on the actual execution part of it and come back and at least have the headings on the slides as well. So I'll give you guys 10 more minutes of work time and then we'll come back together for reflection and closing. Okay.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
That's good.
All right, ladies, let's bring it back. Excuse me? Mom. It's okay. It's okay. My mom didn't know I was teaching a class.
Okay, tell Mama we said hi.
My student said to tell you hi. You cooking. All right. So how did you guys ladies feel? Um, you could just jump into it. Y'all don't need another 10 minutes to reflect. Y'all could just reflect.
Okay.
Talk to me. How y'all feeling? What did you learn about yourself when it comes to follow through and implementation? What revelations, if any, did you get about your parenting or about implementing the Arise? Are you excited or nervous about your presentations next week to see if you've successfully implemented it? How y'all feeling?
I'm feeling good. I think that like writing it and then typing it again just like solidified certain things for me. Um, when it comes to like continuing, I feel like with this group, it made me consistent because it was a class and things needed to get done. Um, like at the first and second class, it was like, okay, I have to do this. But now, like in the third, fourth class, it's like I already created the time and the space to actually implement the things. And when you asked the question before, like, where do you put yourself to three and four? I wanted to say that with the Arise, I feel like I'm putting it in everything because my partner, he's like, therapy is doing well for you. And then
It's
he's
hilarious.
because it's like he can see that certain times where I would just like say off the rip, I'm like, I'm gonna come back to you with that. Let me come back. And I'm like, hmm. And then the way that I articulate certain things, he was like, I feel like you're getting better at like explaining and it's not like so much like emotion filled, but it's like I'm not saying that you're not supposed to feel any emotions, but I can clearly get what you're saying or how you're feeling. So yeah, that's helping. I'm looking forward to implementing this. Pray for me. I'm not really a morning person. Um, so yes, I'm looking forward to what this week holds for me.
All right, you got this. You got this. And I'm glad that it's helping. I'm glad that you're calling it therapy because this is really psychoeducation, you know. Being a teacher, we said this at this conference I went through to last week, that teaching is you have to be therapeutic when you do it. And when I was a teacher, I think that I always did that for my students. But
Mhm.
a lot of people try to put things in boxes and separate them. So even though this class is not necessarily supposed to be therapy in of itself, I appreciate you acknowledging that it feels that way because that's really what psychoeducation is. It's you learning specific tools that is going to help you navigate your psyche in a better way. So thank you for sharing that. And tell homie like, he could book me if, you know. Go ahead, Mimi.
Shout out to the ultimate social worker. And I say that because, yes, this is an educational class, may not be traditional therapy, but when we're thinking about parts of ourselves that need to be improved for the sake of quality of life, they do often bring us to like a mental place, and this space is really great at being grounded and allowing me to like work through the thought process of some of this stuff. Um, I actually feel really relieved after today's class, and I say that to say that what you always say about when you start the class about your testimony. Marks. Cool. Read, make sure you say, excuse me, mama. And that's, excuse me? Yes, you have three birthmarks. Cool. Yes. All right. Go wash your hands. It's a little slippery still, okay? Um, yeah.
Safe
Yeah,
space.
what you say about testimony, what you say about like sharing your testimony being powerful to actually making that change. And this has become such a weight on me that I was like, no, it needs to be implemented, which means I need to testify about it, like I need to give a testimony about it. And knowing like there are a billion other problems that I think I could have worked on, but yeah, just like being able to choose one that I think will ripple out into all of the other areas. I'm also excited to implement it. I think putting it out there in a lot of ways is going to make it a lot easier to implement. And I'm excited to like do some like before and afters and just like make it cute for the presentation for myself too to say, hey, listen, you can set a goal and accomplish it so long as
Mhm.
you use some steps and some strategies that uh, make it not as overwhelming and less jumping around all over your head. Because that really is what stops the implementation process. So I'm excited to see how this format is going to make it easier to get to the implementation finally. Because this has actually, interestingly enough, reading the chapter two, the cultivating resilient mind, the fact that the example was from the pandemic, I would say this issue started for me after the pandemic. I was
Mhm.
fine up until the pandemic, and then so much stuff changed in the structure of things and everything. And then it was like, we need to get back to how things were before the pandemic. So just very connected.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I think the subtitle for the book I wrote was Post-Pandemic Society, like surviving trauma in a post-pandemic society. I wrote this book like during the pandemic. And so you can't go back. You're not going back. It's over. Like life before the pandemic is gone. All you can do is move forward in the new and you know, move forward. I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer, but you're not going back there. You're not getting that life back. But that's okay because you're getting a new one and you're taking control and authority with the new one that you have right now and moving it in a direction and steering it where you want it to go.
Definitely.
All right, ladies, I love that. So, how do you feel about your fifth class? This is the second to last class. What are some of the feels that you're feeling? What are the things you're thinking about?
It's funny that you said that taking control, because while I was like trying to create the slides, I was thinking of like a creative way of what to name it. So I had some things like taking control, the reins of parenthood, or riding the journey of motherhood, for the name of the slide. But I really feel like these series of classes are really having me take that control, not only through like motherhood and parenting, just for my life, for me in itself too, because it's brought things that I couldn't even put into words that I've been dealing with that I didn't know I was dealing with, and being able to be presented with a simple, like, to put in words of like a simple strategy that I can input into little minuscule things to the great problems and be able to work through it. It's just like really, really amazing for me. And thank you. But yeah, I feel like every week I feel a little bit lighter about the the closet, the things that are coming out of the closet. I feel better to like where I know that one day I'll be able to open up the closet and not be afraid of whatever is going to come out because I know I'll be able to tackle it. But yeah, thank you.
That's good. I like that analogy. You are so adorable. If you go on my page, your journey is so cute. Like if people want to pay attention to this class, like it's like a whole little journey of you guys and it's like showing the different moments of different of like that's why I ask you guys every week how you feel, how you feel. And if you follow it, it's like so adorable and it's like coming into this nice like culmination. It's really beautiful. But go ahead, Mimi.
Um, wow, this I can't believe it's the fifth class already. Like it's been moving so fast, but so like intentional at the same time. And I love like the build up for me on like I feel like I feel like Ashley always says it best about the layers like an onion, you know? And it's like I think by the fifth class, I really do feel the onion, as Ashley so well puts it. Um, I feel so much more comfortable about talking through some of these things in a productive way and in a way that leads intentionally to a direction too. Um, I think I get to the point a little bit quicker compared to earlier on. And I'm just like really, really excited about having done this for such a period of time that it can be something that's implemented into my flow and as I like approach other things. And definitely after this presentation that's coming up, taking this and applying it to some of the other problems that may have popped into my head, see if it, I have the same success. So I'm excited about that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, cute. Well, I think that you guys been doing a great job. You've been model students. Um, I think that you guys definitely have encouraged me to keep going and pushing this class forward. I definitely request that you share this opportunity with other parents. Enrollment is now open for the spring and it will be a Thursday night class, Thursday from 6:30 to 8:30. And it will start in the end of April. April 16th is orientation for that one. So definitely share, have them enroll, encourage them to enroll. And I'll even go further for your session next week. I would like for you, if you can, invite someone to come to your presentation. It can be anyone. It could be a parent friend that you want to take the class and you want them to see like what you've done. It could be your partner, anything. Just try to invite at least one person. You can write as many as you like, but one person to come because it's like a graduation. Like you're not getting a grade for this because it's not about grades. It's about you demonstrating what Mimi said. Like you set a goal and you accomplished it, and we have to celebrate our small wins. When I told you guys about execution, I believe I mentioned reward, right? Or celebration. This is that, right? Because at the end of it all, you're within the rise steps that you implemented already. You recognize a gap in your parenting and you decided that you didn't feel good about that. You wanted to be a better parent as your goal. You've been looking up options of how you can be a better parent, and you found a rise as one of those options. And you strategically registered, invested in yourself to participate in the class to address that problem. And now you've executed it. And next week is going to be evidence of that execution of that first Arise plan that you started that you didn't even know that you were doing. So this will be your second time applying Arise, but now it's no longer in the subconscious, it's in the conscious. You're now aware of it. And now you can access it whenever you feel like it. So definitely bring someone to celebrate your wins. It will only be an hour next week as long as we come on time. Make sure you bring a drink or a snack, your favorite drink, so we can toast at the end of what you've accomplished. Um, you will be in, I need you in business casual attire, at least from the waist up. What else you got going on? I don't need to know. Um, and I definitely would like for you, well, you're going to say it in your reflection, but definitely think about what your major takeaways. If you could tell another parent about this course, what would you tell them? Um, why they should take it? And that's pretty much it. And you'll get your certificates of completion. Yeah. Questions, concerns?
I'm excited about that toast. I
You
think we,
excited about the toast?
yeah, I think we deserve a toast. We've been, we've been doing the good work here, so it's gonna be cute.
Okay, let me do this because there we go.